Okay, let us start our discussion for today's strength of material class. Today, what we have seen, what is given here is the universal testing machine itself. This is the video of universal testing machine. You know, this machine is meant for a multiple different type of tests. That's why it is referred to as universal testing machine. This is meant for tensile, meant for compressive, meant for shearing, and meant for bending test even. As and when required, you can test use this machine according to your tonnage or percentage itself. You have to do well within 10 tons of capacity. You don't have more than that capacity. You have to do your work within this specified capacity. Now, what we are doing here is first of all the tensile test. Mostly we have done in all your undergraduate courses in the tensile test in UTM, and laterwards initially we have recorded the you see the uh, tension breaking load or we have recorded so far the breaking load or ultimate tensile load which is required for which is we are supposed to require to know the maximum longevity of the particular type of workpiece known as uh, workpiece or sample piece which is specific for a specific machine. You know, you have gone through five different sorts different I mean different experiment in strength of material, and everywhere you have seen a specific sample specific workpiece or test piece is required to for this type of machines itself, which for which only those I mean the items we actually use for our testing purposes. This is because all these tests are this is because all these tests are destructive in nature. Means what is this test? It destroys the test material which we had given it for testing. Here you have given a specific uh, dumbbell shaped longitudinal length of bar, dumbbell shaped round rod, which has a one step down as if it looks like a dumbbell itself, and it is fixed between the two uh, driving two vices. One is at the intermediate vices, and one is at the top vices, and it is pulled and braked it to know the tensile testing itself. But now, what happens? You want to know a particular rod, we have to know the tensile stress of a particular item. Maybe it is required for your design, or maybe required for your further use in your specific work in your workshop itself. But in order to know the strength, you cannot use that rod directly to the rod directly and to the fix or fix it to the machine itself. First of all, you know the you want to use this particular rod or batch of items to for your work, and you cannot destroy them for testing. That's all. One thing. Next is all these machineries in strength of material only permits a particular type of test piece or workpiece which it can accommodate. They are totally inflexible about the a multiple different type of equipment, different type of test piece itself. They can allow you to attend only one thing to make this one type and one dimension of the material with which it can you can do your work. So for all practical purposes, maybe in workshop, maybe in factory, maybe in our test houses itself, you have to manufacture with your material with the material of the item that particular type of workpiece itself. But how you take it? You have to use the same material first of all. Next, you have to do the same treatment which you are supposed to do on the material itself, which means you are supposed to do the same hardening and tempering process. You are supposed to do the same finish as if the item is as your parent item is required, and more or less it should match the length and dimension closest to the limit itself for the tensile test. It is because just one second. Uh, this is because In order to check the strength, your ductility, your breaking point, your ultimate tensile strength, your constant of proportionality, all these things, you are supposed to do the user test piece whose size and dimensions are more or less close to the actual one. Actual means the items which you are going to use in your further production, further assembly, or further testing like this. But it is very difficult to make it like this because your items can be in numerous types. A huge difference of different type of items can be used in workshop whose tensile test or breaking points or your yield points you are supposed to know. So ultimately, it has been decided by the manufacturer as well as from the industry, the representative industry, that a specific type of workpiece we will supposed to make for this type of machine. Only thing, the size will never match with the uh, your item for which we are doing the testing. But what you will do is uh, just one second. Just what you do is you have to do all the size of treatment in the same manner. Treatment means what? Means what? Your manufacturing process may be different. You cannot make a rod of that length and like dimension of say around 100 centimeter, 100 millimeter, or 10, I mean around 750 millimeter length, around 10 centimeter means 10 centimeter, 10 millimeter or 1 centimeter means diameter like this. Your plot can be totally and summarily different. But then how will you make the difference? First, you have to pick the same raw material. Your process in actual materials may be totally different. Maybe for making, you are making it by forging, you are making it by some die casting itself, and but you want to know the strength of that particular item itself. So many things, but this rod requires only a turning operation, and this was requires a raw material of nearest size because you don't want to waste the material itself. So, so only one thing you have to choose. You have to, this is the particular type of material you are going to use here. What is your, as per your requirement? And you have to find out that all these parameters like hardness, strength, ductility, torsional point, etc., what is given to you. Now we will test whether your rod are really have this thing or what. If not, what is the difference, and if this difference is permissible for your work itself. So you have to use this raw material only to make this type of item itself. And so, just one second, please. Hello. Mm. Now, what you are supposed to do is here. So you have to bake. What you are supposed to do, you have to use the same material from a reliable sources, one which is not, which cannot, may not be used for forging or for casting or any other sheet metal forming like this. But you have to use the same material from your raw material source, and you have to make it inside normal dumbbell shape item like this. And you have to use the testing, and with the idea that these results obtained from this test will serve your purpose and will match with your requirement itself. You see, this is all totally an empirical process. Means it is not proving anything. As if you have to prove that this is the fact. All these results are actual and factual and close, absolutely close to the required limit. No, it is not that, because it's totally different process of manufacturing, totally different type of test. Only you are going through the tensile limits or along which the specific limits available in the tensile test itself. So, but it is course of time we have observed the result obtained by from this UTM by using a specific type of workpiece. The result which you have got, if we use this result, our purpose will be solved. We can, with the basis of this result, we can decide whether our required materials which is meant for assembly, meant for production manufacturing, or even meant for sending some other pieces will serve our purpose, which is usable up to the required quality. This is the basis of all these six experiments. You are doing tensile compressive stress in UTM. You are checking the hardness of your sample in three different machines as per your choice. You are going through the impact test in your impact testing machine. Fourthly, you are going to the Fourthly, we are going to the torsion test to get the ultimate strength or breaking strength in torsion, etc. So, going through all four operation: hardness, tensile, compressive, tensile stress, compressive stress, torsion test, after impact test, with getting with all the data of your present requirement, you can use this data safely for the purpose which you are using it. This is the empirical relation, but in course of time and years of use, it is proved that these machines are reliable for your subject work, because for which you don't have to manufacture or process a costly and very accurate machine, but that will take much more cost. That we are testing purpose machines cannot be used for always. It is only specific time it is used. It is not a production machine which is will give you output for so many hundreds of output per hour or per year or per day or so. It is not meant for that. Only a specific type of rods and specific time will be tested, and the rest of the time it remains stationary, remains unused, which means next second. Hello. Hello. No, I'm a bit busy. Not now. Hello. Hi. So what is going on is that we are supposed to do all these different machines. Yes, because what I am telling you that these machines are not very accurate but usable, and you are not very costly even. You can keep a set of this machine in your workshop, which you can use when its requirement is comes. These machines are not made for production. You are not producing anything for so hundred of pieces of items will produce per hour or per hour day or like this. It's not that. It is only a specific number of items will be tested here, and remaining time it will remain idle. So its cost, if it is very high, cannot be justified with your it is use. So for a test like tensile test, we can use comparatively cheap but reliable machines. And here, which one part of it, one of its model is given shown to you here. Just let us start now. What is shown here is the front of the machine itself. You see there is a crossbar here. These items are defined as crossbar. This is the rod or testing rod which is fixed here. This is a vise, and this is also a vise for fixing the rod over the machine itself. This is the control parameter. This is the controlling machine. These are the two knobs. This is meant for releasing the oil of the machine itself, and this is made for actuating the tension of the mesh tension or movement of the machine itself. This is the main control unit of the different parameters to start the pump of the machine, as well as to start the intermediate motor of the machine. I will explain all of them, of course. This is a torsiometer, is defined as torsiometer, means tensile test is being converted, your tensile strength is converted to the software used in this computer itself.
हो जाले भैया।
Hmm. Just 1 second. Let me take the attendance. Okay. Now let me explain the different side. This is the base or the foundation of the machine itself. This is just a cover. It's square or orange shape item blocks side. This is like a sheet only well painted, and it is covering the in between parts itself. What we have inside is the hydraulic motor and a cylinder, to and fro cylinder, which either can move up, whose piston can either move up by the action of the oil pressure produced in the pump itself, and it can be if the pressure is released, I mean this oil is its outlet is released, this oil will go out and it will ram by its own weight will go down. So main operation is being done here. First, there is a pump itself, which is a sophisticated oil pump, which is controlled by the control panel, and it's at the time of the machine when the machine is being used, when it starts using it, it will pump the hydraulic oil inside one side of the cylinder itself, so that cylinder starts pulling the intermediate member accordingly, going up, or cylinder is going up with the materials with the test piece itself, and ultimately breaks it. And your operation is controlled. Then your valve, which is operating this hydraulic oil, will be closed, and another valve, which is the release valve, will open. And by the release valve, by the circuit itself, all the oil will release and go back to the oil sump, and the piston by its own weight will go down. So only one thing we are doing here, we are running and stopping a pump. We are pumping a particular specific oil, hydraulic oil, inside the or hydraulic cylinder, or the hydraulic cylinder itself, and one side of the cylinder is by the pinch of its own pressure, cylinder cylinder along with the intermediate members of the machine starts going up, and creates the extension on compression or bending or shear, whatever maybe is required. And after the breakage of the concerned part is complete, we'll close the valve operating the close the valve operating the machine, and will open a valve for the release of the oil itself, which ultimately by its own weight released and go back to the oil sump, and the member goes down, all the concerned members goes down and to the rod bottom center itself. So what we have in this setup is one hydraulic cylinder, one oil sump of carrying around 30 to 35 liters of hydraulic oil, one control valve, which I did not mention earlier, to say one control valve. If you open this pressure, the pressure created by the motor itself will go inside the hydraulic cylinder, which goes up the machine, which goes up and along with the machine members. And when it is pumping is finished, when we want to stop the machine, or our breakage is complete, we close the valve, we release the release valve and stop the pump itself. By its own weight, the machine member will go down, and at the time of breakage, the use of potentiometer, potentiometer will get all our required diameters like uh, proportional lead tensile limit, proportional limit, yield point, and ultimate limit, which is being plotted over a uh, computer over a computer, and which is converted by proper software from the reading of the torsiometer to the computer itself, which you can print and use it. So let us proceed further for the next page. This is one section, total another section of the machine itself. What you have here, there is a horizontal member here, 1, 2, and 3. This is called end members, and this one is end, bottom bit and bottom member. This is called top member. This is called intermediate member. This is all horizontal, and you see this member don't have any other equipment. It's totally open. But on this intermediate member have a vice here, which there is a nut system here. If you rotate this handles, if you rotate this handle in the anti-clockwise direction, this will release, and there is a nut inside this handle, which will actually grip the machine. Actually, it will grip the machine itself. So after pressing the end of the machine inside, there is a V-shaped groove here inside the machine, and it is like it has a knurled body, so that it can grip the material tightly and securely. You have to grip the, you have to put the body up to the length of your uh, dumbbell shaped rod. The biggest diameter up to the full length of the dumbbell in one end should be kept inside the machine. Then you first release these handles in the clockwise direction. It will go to the end and touch the material. Then you will tight the vice by means of the nut inside it, and then you pull this thing, pull this rod fully, so that it can get this gripping is complete. But same type of system is had in the top member, where same type of handle operated nut, two nut is there. One is outside, another is not handle operated, just manually you can move and get the grip tighted. First, there's also contents in the vice, contains a knurled head, is a V-shaped belt, where up to a certain diameter of the rod you can accommodate. Where if after accommodating the one other end of the of your dumbbell shaped document, it will go inside document. It will fully, we have to grip, place this dumbbell length fully inside this vice. Next, first tight it by rotating the handles up to the requirement, hand tight, and then it will be fully tight by means of the inside nut itself. Actually, nut is, these two nut is acting like this in for top and bottom member is like this. First, that nut with the handles will close the, we close the vice over the material itself. It will first initially tighten. Next, this is the not very hard weight hard tighten, but manual and with appreciable weight. That's all. Appreciable force. That's all. And then we touch the nut inside, so that this grip, it ultimately, this vice has the proper grip, and it should not be released during the work itself. So again, I'm telling you, there are two presses, three vice, three intermediate member, 1, 2, and 3. This intermediate member here, it is more or less apparent to you. He is here. This is connected with the top member with this shaft like cylinder, with this shaft. One end is gripped here, another end is gripped here. And here this side, which is at the other side of the machine itself, same type of shaft is there. It is gripped here and gripped there. Both are I will say fixed with each other by means of these two shafts. And the total unit from here to here, it will move by move together itself. But what is about this intermediate member? This is called intermediate member. Although he has the vice, this member is totally free of this two shafts itself. It has a separate screw jack system. It is a separate screw jack system, left and right. What this screw jack system is doing is, first of all, you have to accommodate the rod itself. Initially, these members are meant for only fixing one end of the rod, and these members are used for making the creating the tensile load to see the strength of the rod itself. But this member is only for gripping and holding one side of the dumbbell shaped workpiece itself, and it is it is not giving you any chance any uh, to it is not meant for pulling the rod at all, but it is fixed in between, and it is fixed between this uh, highly threaded members, vertical members from here, and as you see there are other side of these members, and this member is used to accommodate the length of the rod itself, because itself it can be moved up and down by by pushing a switch on the control panel itself, and it can move up and down to accommodate the length of the rod. But you see, at the time of testing the machine, this rod is totally fixed and will remain standstill. It will not pull the rod at all. So what this intermediate member rod member is doing is important. There is a motor here, and it is this motor here, which directly through gear drive runs this particular screw jack, and that motor through proper gear drive will also run this motor and this gear, so that both should move at the same speed, and this rod in both the ends should go up and down with the same amount of deflection, no difference. Otherwise, this will totally be jammed. So these machine motors and the gear drive should be so synchronized that both these should be, both this three-threaded portion should move and move rotated clockwise, anti-clockwise direction by the same amount. Its pitch are absolutely same, and their feeding or going up and down should be absolutely same to make it usable. This intermediate member usable itself. Next. Now we are keeping it drawing it close to it. First, show it here. This is a handle. 1, 2, 3, 4 handles are there, which is embedded in a nut itself. It is basically a nut. And other side, the nuts. If you move the handle clockwise and anti-clockwise, the vice inside will open or close. Vice will be inside this machine, and it is cannot be taking the photograph. It can be viewable by physically. This vice, one side, one of the vice, the jaw of the vice is this side, another jaw is this side itself. So what we are doing here, this vice, both these vice will open and close together over the workpiece itself. Just 1 second, please. Now, next, one end of the test piece will be one end of the test piece will be totally hold inside this vice itself. I told you it's a dumbbell shape like I mean the workpiece itself. One side, the one end of the dumbbell is fixed here, and other end of the dumbbell is fixed at the top. And for total length of the dumbbell will be totally used to grip it properly, so that this should be absolutely rigid and perfect. Let us do the next. Same, we are looking that this same thing, same vice is used here. This is the handles with which you can move and rotate the vice. If you rotate it clockwise, vice will go together and grip the material. If we rotate it anti-clockwise, vice will release and release the material itself. After closing the vice over the material itself. When it is tightened by hand, there is a gripper nut here inside this nut system, which you have to tighten properly so that your setting cannot be removed by the action of this for total two threads of thread inside. Now, next we are coming to the A itself. What is shown in front of us is here, it is the release valve. Release valve means, first of all, before doing any experimentation here, the release valve, it is to be ensure the release valve is properly closed, and it should be closed clockwise by rotating clockwise, and it can be opened by rotating in anti-clockwise division. There is a selector switch here. There, selector switch can be have three portions here. One is manual, one is off, one is on, manual and automatic. If a manual course, actually, if you use, you can use this machine by pressing the switch, or automatic system. There is another switch behind it, somewhere here, I think this one. If we move it in the opposite direction, another selector switch, it in one position, it will allow you to move, make the full work automatically, and another position, it will allow to make this full work through the computer itself. Now, here is four set of switch to control the whole machines. The left hand side are there's to up and down, motor start, motor start, motor stop. If you start the motor will start operate the pump, and it will force the your hydraulic fluid, right, inside this cylinder, piston cylinder assembly itself, and it will, by its first pressure, both this member will go up itself. And this is the another two rods where up and down is required only, which is meant for moving the intermediate rod inside this screw jack, which is in his turn operated by through whatever gearbox in kept under the cover itself. Or it is operated by specific motor through specific gearbox. It should operate the intermediate member accordingly, so that it should move up and down with the same speed and with the same displacement. And initially, you have to move it up and down to accommodate the desired length of the bar itself. But this after, and one set of vice is being fixed here. So it is used to accommodate the work, the intermediate member, and it is used to accommodate, to grip one set of the vice. But it is not used for creating tension in any way. That is used being done by the top and bottom vice itself. Next is, this is the main control valve itself, input of the control valve. Here, after starting the pump, you will get it closed. Next, when you are ready for the operation, you will release the valve by rotating it in anti-clockwise direction. And thus, when this valve is operated, this pump fluid will be allowed to move inside the pneumatic hydraulic cylinder itself. Now, when your operation means tearing the rod is complete, or shearing the machine is complete, and then you will first stop the motor in the by pressing the stop switch. It will rotate the control valve to right to the anti-clockwise direction to make it totally stop. So the total compressing tensile operation of the machine is thus being stopped there. And what I will do is, it is already, you can stop there when the rod is broken due to enormous tensile tensile load, and will then open the release valve, so that the lower member along with the broken part which moves down itself. Actually, lower member which is kept below the intermediate member is cannot have any grip itself, but it has other function itself. So what you do here, when things are your workpiece are broken, we stop the flow of the fluid right side and open the left side release valve, which means that all the pump oil that's pumped inside the cylinder and inside the circuit oil circuit, it is now being poured out. So it takes certain amount of time to get the pouring complete, and whole top and bottom member will go down up to a certain limit and still remain straighter when the valve is open, release valve is open. When bottom valve reaches its bottom post position,